Okay, so at least I'm back in the house. Um, I've been doing this journal on the live journey through borderline, and so every now and then I just get into these topics about borderline personality disorder. What better time than to talk about it when you've just been through a complete episode of borderline? And for me, it's a little bit more, um, you more in between than like when I was severe because being mild now, like I can go like 8 months to a year without being triggered by having just the right sort of environment, by creating certain boundaries. And it just, I don't know, I've been accepting a lot more positive relationships in my life, that it's been, easier to be not people pleasing all the time. um I'm way beyond the point now of where I'm like feeding into my impulses. I've have a more like third perspective sort of look at my behavior, because I've been doing it for so long with my journaling and with like just kind of like getting into my psyche and like quitting my like impulses and replacing them with better impulses, and working on that harm reduction, harm reduction, harm reduction, and just slowly dissecting each of my core criteria and what kind of makes me tick. And this is where I was getting at, that borderline is very abstract. That it's like everybody's got like a little something that makes them different in regards to what causes their dysregulation, um, just in general. But for me, what I find is interesting that I want to talk about was about neurodivergence, and how I came in a generation where I feel like there was neurodivergence is still being like studied, kind of under the radar still. I had an audio processing disorder when I was little. It made me have speech impediments, so because of that, I was at a disadvantage of communicating, with writing, with reading, just in general with social skills, which created sort of a frustration emotionally wise. And I don't think the education system and my role models at the time were able to actually validate some of the neurodivergencies that I was going through. And when we look at comorbidity rates of borderline and intelligence rate of borderline, I have to say there's usually a neurodivergency link. And I think that, we're from a generation where that's still being more explored, just in generally. And that's where I'm saying that, borderlines can be formed by even the nature of how neurodivergence is not adaptable to neurotypical society, and can get a lot of like emotional punishment and a lot of like criticism and stigmatizations and discriminations. And the system is even not necessarily set up, the workforce is not necessarily set up for these abstractions, and that causes some of these dysregulations that I'm talking about. um I think we're at a new age now, like a new understanding with neurodivergencies and with intelligence, that I feel like we're going to be able to understand that when we come into more of a self acceptance with that, and how we can adapt with our neurodivergencies in our skills, and the way that we can contribute into society and into the system. Um, I feel like we're gonna make another huge jump in the medical field, when we start talking about treatments and encouraging a type of confidence, and getting people to understand that not necessarily every behavior that they're experiencing is necessarily sick, but that they're unique in how they're experiencing their experience in the world, um, to engage more interpersonally, that is conducive and like symbiotic to the diagnosis or to the language that they're experiencing. And I think as soon as we start to like lower the stigma on mental health and see that mental health is like a doctor checkup on our minds, and allow us to have like more of a definition and a language to understand maybe some of the challenges or the different neurochemistries that we're going through, then we can actually, get, the right nutrients, the right resources, the right language, the right toolbox to better assist ourselves and in our communities. So I feel like this generation has really been in discussion of mental health just in general. Post post depression, post war, and now we're in this technological age, and this sort of transition and transhumanism, and we're really getting into the psychology of what it means to be healthy and alive as a human being. And I think this is the conversation piece that we're getting at in regards to when we start talking about understanding borderline better. We need to actually start listening more to the people who are treated with borderline and what steps they took in order to dissect their psychology. All right. Thank you. Bye.